And the countdown for game number 2 has started. The first game was won by Mong. Within only 5 minutes, the TPP, Mong played with a very well-timed counterattack. And 1minute-science wasted his units. And now, the roles are the same. 1minute-science is playing the Teal Protoss on the middle right spot up against Mong, who's again on the same spot as he was last game. This time he's the purple Terran. Last game he was the yellow Terran, I assume. I already forgot, my memory is just absolutely terrible. But that game really showed, the last game, really showed that Mong knows exactly what he's doing on fastest map. Maybe that's because he is a very quick learner, but also because he is, you know, a pro player, an actual pro player, a top level pro player, in fact. And he just has such a great understanding of the game that no matter what map he's playing on, he can immediately adapt, given that he has a little bit of time to learn the builds, learn the mechanics, and learn the strategies. And he'll just download them, upload them to his brain, and adapt to and apply them with a better game sense than pretty much everyone else. And starting off with 2 barracks right at the start. Started by a depot, then 2 barracks, 2 gateways for 1minute-science, bottom at the choke. He's going for the exact same build as he did last game, which will be followed up by a nexus there, and a forge, not a pilot of course, because he needs the psi, and a gas, maybe 2 gas, a cybernetics core, and 2 cannons at his choke, maybe 3 cannons, because last game Mong took down those 2 cannons that 1minute-science had at his choke without much effort. So I'm curious to see how this affected 1minute-science's mental game. Will he be playing more defensive, more scared, out of fear of Mong going for a counterattack or very well-timed attack and overpowering him? Or will 1minute-science thread the needle and play and fight on the knife's edge again? And Mong finds 1minute-science on the very first scout, going over the middle to check for a mid-build, I assume. I'm not sure if Koreans use that mid-build that often. I'm not sure if he has encountered the mid-build that often. But he immediately finds 1minute-science. He's just gonna run in circles around the base, keeping information for himself, staying on tabs, on track, seeing exactly what 1minute-science is up to. There's the nexus, no cannons yet because he doesn't have a forge yet. There is the forge, no gas yet because he can't afford the gas yet. So we will be seeing that very soon. There are 3 Marines now out in the choke of Mong, being met by 2 Zealots. The Zealots chasing the Marines away. The Marines gonna regroup at the barracks and then gonna attack. Zealots pulling away because he knows he cannot fight into the micro of Mong. Mong is a really great Marine micro because he is a Terran main on low map or the regular maps. And SCV runs away, goes back in, tries to pull the Zealots with him, but 1minute-science responds immediately and pulls his Zealots into the middle. So we have the exact same scenario as last game, where 1minute-science is keeping his units in front of Mong's Marines. Mong will have to dance back and forth a little bit, and 1minute-science attacks, single Zealot goes down, a single Marine goes down, Mong pulls away, but he's going to get cut up there in the corner. He micros himself out of it, but does lose 2 Marines. No Zealots have gone down yet. Another Marine dies. Is actually looks really good for 1minute-science. Takes down way more Marines than I thought he would. But eventually he does lose all of his 4 Zealots, but Mong lost more Marines than he should have lost by walking himself into that corner. And 1minute-science made a really nice move by just keep on walking until he had him boxed in. There's the academy, there's the factory. He's going for a very fast factory. There's the cybernetics core for 1minute-science. And this time, indeed, as I mentioned, he is playing a bit more safe by throwing down 5 cannons into a lattice choke, because his Zealot count has whittled down a little bit because he went offensive there. And he's not making any Zealots at the moment. Stim upgrade is on the way for Mong. Mong is going to try to go for the same move he did last game, which is trying to break that choke down. But now that there are 3 cannons finished and 2 almost finished, he won't be able to take that choke down at all. There's a gateway there to make it harder for Mong to position his units all in this line to fire all at the same time, so that they will be unable to get focused down on the cannon if you were to go in. But now he's just going to keep his units there, keep 1minute-science boxed in, prevent him from leaving with a probe or a Zealot. He's lining up his 1 Marine to take down the gate. 1minute-science cancels the gate. And there's now 2 robotic facilities for 1minute-science up there instead of down here. Usually people throw them down here because they're relative gateways. to this point, which makes it way quicker to load up their shuttles and throw out continuous drop attacks. But 1minute-science is not going for that. Instead, he's going for putting his tech up here, which I think is a very smart choice in this specific situation, because he doesn't want to lose his robotic facilities too early into the game, because Mong is going quite aggressive. Well, I thought he was going quite aggressive, but he is just going for the tank drop here. Or a marine drop, maybe a fire bat drop, because he hasn't made a tank yet. He's making medics, marines. He starts his first +1 CC 5:30 into the game, which is very, very late. He might get a little bit supply stack because he hasn't started the depot yet. There's a depot. A little bit of a delay. There's a depot in the front, so in fact he won't get supply stack. I just missed that one was getting constructed. And he's going to load over marines here over the edge. You don't really see this that often. It's going to unload them out of the vision of any of 1minute-science units, although 1minute-science hears it happening. And the zealots are going to surround the marines. He's going to try to unload medics and marines before all of the marines go down, but he doesn't get the medics and marines out in time. Actually, it was just marines and a single medic there. He stims them, and the zealots are gonna go down before any more of... Actually, yes, almost all of the marines actually do go down. He might go a single marine while there's 3 HP left, just in time for it to survive. Mong is very quickly gonna load up way more units. There's a shuttle finished for 1minute-science, and 2 reavers are on the way. He's building cannons all around his base. Doesn't want to get those marines... Doesn't want to give those marines any room to go in deeper. A third robotic facility has been thrown down. He stims in, and he doesn't get the reaver. He doesn't get the shuttle either. So now he has a shuttle behind the cannon line. He's going to pick up that second reaver, maybe. Maybe not. But I am sure that he is going to try and reaver micro to kill these marines. Mong just walking back and forth. He splits up his marines. He's going to take down the shuttle. No, he's taking down the shuttle, but in return, he doesn't get... He does lose all of his marines. He doesn't get a reaver. He did take the shuttle down, so he's going to delay a potential drop from 1minute-science. 1minute-science now has to wait for more shuttles to finish, and before he can go for an attack, he can go for a frontal attack, can go for a drop. There is a tank drop flying in for Mong. So Mong is already fully and completely on the offensive, because he's going to fly it around instead of going from the north. He's going to come in from the south, but little does he know there are cannons in the south. 1minute-science anticipated it, playing very, very safely, which actually does give Mong a lot of time and freedom to do as he pleases. 2 tanks come out. The tanks... 1 tank does get a shut off, and I actually missed how many probes he killed. I'm not going to rewind, but I assume he killed about 5 or 10 there, which is better than nothing at all, considering the cost was a dropship and 2 tanks, and it slows down 1minute-science's income. Turrets finally coming down for Mong. Mong saw the shuttle leave, I assume, with either a scan or with a dropship in the tanks, with which he flew in. He's very rapidly repositioning his units, knowing that the drop is coming. The drop flies in, the reaver comes out, second reaver comes out, second reaver west, second reaver's both in the back. He's microing the reavers, but he has to the shuttle's gonna take down... The turret's gonna take down the shuttle, and both reavers die, units have died, shuttles have died, and... That's a very cheeky but nice matrix. The zealot even attacks the marine that is matrixed. And Mong doesn't lose any SCVs. His SCV count's almost up to 50. I really like this new feature that they've added very recently, where you can see the worker count. There's a shuttle flying around. It's trying to look for an opening, but Mong has actually done a pretty good job of spacing his turrets in such a way. There's a turret covering every single direction, and 2 drops coming in from this at the same time. One is a distraction drop. Actually, there is a Templar in there, and the Templar does get a storm, but the Templar does not get any kills at all. So far, just Marines have died to the storms and to the drops. A couple of medics too, probably, but no SCVs have died. His Marines are his SCVs, his minerals are very low, even though he has a lot of SCVs mining minerals, but he does have to put these back on the gas. He lost a single turret. 1minute-science very quickly expanding his base. Storm upgrade, everything has finished. Very slowly getting his upgrades. He's got a single force getting his upgrades. He's on 4 gas. He might want to add a gas a little bit later, so you can expand his tech, get upgrades quicker, and spam out more Templars and units, I assume. But there is a tank on the high ground, and it's gonna get taken down by these two zealots that got dropped right on top of the tank. So no gain for Mong there, but Mong is not gonna stop. He's just gonna fly over. Oh no, he's gonna land tanks on his own hills. That's a very good preemptive defensive move. Getting control over the high ground. Drop flying out for 1 minute science. Gonna come in from the west side of Mong's base. Mong is unaware that it's coming, though he did see shuttles flying around when he had his tanks there in his dropship. The drop comes in. Flies in over the southwestern side. Goes in all the way. SCVs got pulled off very late. There's a little bit of a fail going on there, and he loses 12 SCVs to the storm. The storms were pretty good, but the SCVs are quite beefy, so just moving out of the storm will usually prevent them from dying to a single storm or to two storms, even if they walk through two storms. So he loses only about 14 or 12 SCVs, which he will very quickly be able to replenish. He's healing the SCVs back up with his medics so that they don't die to a storm coming in right now. There's a drop coming in from the east side. Marines getting stimmed, SCVs getting pulled off the minerals, Templars getting dropped out, but the Templars this time do get a very good storm off, but Mong, again, saves most of his SCVs, just loses a couple of Marines. And I think he lost 2 or 3 SCVs to the storm, but not that much at all, so he's just going to keep on adding on to his base, having 54 SCVs, mining gas, mining minerals. He is getting harassed and is getting hurt a little bit, but he is very comfortably, I mean, not very comfortably, but he is very slowly and surely adding onto his upgrades, adding onto his base, though he's still only on 2 factories, but he has a lot of Marines out. Marines stimming, trying to intercept the shuttles, focusing down the shuttles. No, he's focusing down the SCVs, focusing down the Templars. A storm comes down on the SCVs, 5 or 6 SCVs die, but he is still, again, on 52 SCVs in total. So he isn't hurt too badly. He's going to have to put his SCVs back on his minerals, start mining again. I do have to add that taking your SCVs, specifically that many SCVs off of your mineral patches that often does hurt your income, because the SCVs have to start re-mining through the entire re-mining process, which takes kind of long, specifically when you're putting them on your minerals 12 at a time. 1 minute science now has added more forges, so he's upgrading everything at the same time except for weapons. He's adding more robotic facilities, drop flying in from the east. This time there are Valkyries too, and not a single Templar gets dropped within the range of the SCVs, so just storming some Marines, take some Marines down. Valkyries now flying around on the side, ready to intercept shuttles flying in. A couple of turrets just went down. Drop coming in from the west side. There's a single shuttle supported by 2 Corsairs, but there are 8 turrets just waiting there. The 9th one is under construction. They're going to have to fly in very soon. Mong repositioning his units around his base, still on very low minerals, has 66 SCVs now though, whereas 1 minute science has 91 probes, which is a lot. I think he has a little bit too many probes actually, considering he's only mining from 6 assimilators, so he could go by with about 80 or 75 probes in total, 60 mining, 15 on the minerals, or 18 on the minerals. And now he's flying in again over the southeastern side, but this time there are Stim Marines in the path and Valkyries in the path, so he doesn't even get close to hitting the minerals or dropping his Templar close to the minerals. But another drop is coming in from the other side, and this drop does take down about 20 or 30 SCVs. This is a really nice move. The drop from the west side being the real drop, the other drop being the distraction drop. 1 minute science toggling his attention and multitasking really well with his second drop, storming and taking down 20 or 25 SCVs. But Mong still on 50 SCVs, having a big base, having a lot of supply, might be able to rebuild and recover. But it entirely depends on what 1 minute science does now. He's loading up another drop. He's got 9 shuttles this time. He's going to split the drop up. Go for 2 sides at the same time. Once again, he's attacking from the front, trying to take these depots down. The depots will go down to the tank fire. The splash damage taking down his own depots. The wall has been breached. He's going to have to build a new wall in front of his choke really quickly to keep 1 minute science out. 1 minute science now grouping all of his... it looks like I was wrong. He's grouping all of his shuttles up in the same location. Morphing Archons. Upgrades again on the way. Let's see how many upgrades he's on. I think he's almost on 333. Oh, he's still on 111. 333 is almost finished. Will be finished in about 4 or 5 minutes. Mong is on 0 armor, 2 weapon upgrade for his ground, 1 for his tanks, adding on more armories for his air upgrades, adding more depots all around his base so he can keep expanding his supply. 62 SCVs now, more SCVs being produced. He's positioning all of his marines there because he knows that a drop is coming. And the drop, he stims his marines, but there's so many Corsairs that this drop is going to go in very deeply. And he does drop the Archons and the Zealots on top of the CC, hoping he can take it down with the combined efforts of the splash damage from the tanks. And actually the splash damage from the tanks does help. There was no repair. The main CC goes down to the Archons and the Zealots and the splash damage from the tanks. And Mong is now without a CC. He's going to need more SCVs now to get the same amount of income that he had just a little bit ago. That's definitely going to hurt him. His gas won't be slowed down all that much because, as you can see, unlike the Western map, there's so much space for your command centers to allow you to get the same amount of gas, basically. But he is hurt. He is very slowly falling behind on 1minute-science. 1minute-science has a big base. And as I said before, he has a little bit too many probes, but he isn't really noticing the small deficit in Psi total. Because he's just flying in drops and hurting Mong. Mong flying in, dropping right on top of tanks and marines because he can't get in any further. As marines are blocking access to the mineral patch, Snimp marines taking down the shuttles, Valkyries helping and taking down the shuttles too. The middle is being cannoned up in case Mong wants to move out, so Science is playing very safe. Drop flying right into the Valkyries, he splits up the drop. A couple of shuttles do get in all the way, and he gets a good storm off, killing 40 SCVs of Mong. Mong, thinking he had it, didn't pull his SCVs off of his minerals, and pulls them off too late once he realized that the storm drops did get in very close to his SCVs. Loses most of his SCVs. 1minute-science now coming with the frontal attack with about 12 Zealots, but the 12 Zealots will be able to walk in all the way. Mong forced to unsiege to prevent himself from losing tanks to tank splash damage. Resieges them, drop coming in from the west side, the east side. Valkyries firing on the shuttles. Shuttles do get in almost all the way. No, don't get in all the way. Has to drop his units on top of the turrets. Gets a storm of on-top marines. Another drop coming in from the west side. Flying around. It's gonna go up. Gonna go up just a little bit. Flying right into Valkyries because he's flying all over these barracks and dropships that Mong spaced around the map. Unloads his shuttles. Mong pulls back because there's no purpose in having his Valkyries out there anymore. More units coming in from the front, but dealing 0 damage. Mong now gonna go shuttle hunting. Never mind, not going shuttle hunting. Sometimes people like to go shuttle hunting by just flying their Valkyries or Wraiths into the enemy base and taking down the shuttle before they can leave the base. There is a dropship coming in. Is loaded up with tanks. There's some tanks in there. He drops his tanks on top of the high ground. Drop flies in without Corsair assistance. He drops right on top of the turrets. Valkyrie's trying to take down the shuttles, but the shuttles are being taken down way too late. He is going to take down a couple of these turrets thanks to tank splash damage. Focusing them down. No storm coming out. Marines taking down the Dragoons, Zealots, and Templar on the side there. But now there's a hole opened up for 1minute-science to fly over. Another drop is being prepared on the west side. Just adding Corsairs to the drop so they can fly over the turrets. But he flew over barracks, so Valkyries are not positioned correctly. There's 2 drops coming in actually. One drop from the southwest side, but it goes down to the Valkyries, and another drop coming in from the northwest side. And he's dropping his Templars. Mong relocates his SCVs, pulls them off the minerals, only loses 5 SCVs to the storm drop. But there is a Zealot there taking down turrets on the west side of his base, and another drop being loaded up. This time, not many drops actually. He's going to drop on the high ground and on top of tanks. This shuttle went down without you dropping a single one of his units. Another drop coming in from the front, but there's so many units there that he has to drop his units on top of the tanks. Does take down a bunch of tanks with the splash damage from the tanks. That's a very nice pickup. Mong is bleeding out, very slowly losing his supply because his income is very, very low. His gas income is also very, very low. Hasn't been able to expand his base all that much, only on 6 factories, of which 2 do not have a machine shop. But he is doing a really good job of holding 1minute-science out of his base with very quick reactions, good Valkyrie use. Although you might want to plug this hole up right there, because he is gonna... Well, he placed his turrets there over the wall, which is kind of nice, I guess. But not as good as placing them here, because now he's gonna lose the turrets just as he did right there. And now there is a bigger frontal attack coming out. No units being loaded up into the shuttles just yet. He's gonna try to go in through the front, see how much damage he can do. But their tanks have been dropped on all the hills all around the middle, making it harder for 1minute-science to just A-move his units in there. And now he has to control and walk his units in deeper and then A-move them, because otherwise the units are gonna completely trip out to the tanks on the high ground that they can't reach but do want to attack. And now here he's gonna drop zealots on top of the high ground. A single one, actually, just needs a single one. Doesn't need many more. Gonna fly this drop in from the side, but it goes down to the Valkyries. Now it's gonna focus on that turret. So very, very quick play from 1minute-science. Smart play too, actually. Better than I expected based off of the first game. Corsair's gonna take down the barrack hanging there, giving Mong vision over the map. Mong has lifted all of his barracks up, so won't be able to replenish his units. 1minute-science dropping his zealots on top of the tanks, takes down a bunch of tanks with splash damage. This one is empty. Now units incoming from the front, but they're gonna die to tank siege damage way before they can even reach. The tanks are in 3-3 upgrades, so despite the pressure that Mong's been under, he's upgraded all of his units and tanks to 3-3. Whereas 1minute-science is still on 2-2, 2 for all of his units on the ground. Although he's very close to getting level 3 upgrades for his ground forces. Reaver's taking down all his turrets very quickly, so another hole has been opened up in Mong's base. This Reaver is still out of range of the tanks. He might actually be able to walk this Reaver in and take a shot on these SCVs, but he's not trying. Instead, he's going for a frontal attack while he's busy there on the side, distracting Mong, but Mong closing up the hole in the front with the barracks. I mean, the command center even. He's on 73 SCVs now, so he's done a really good job of recovering and securing his SCVs for the last 4 or so minutes, giving himself the opportunity to rebuild and taking his time to rebuild because he wants his hole here on the side plugged up, and he's not gonna see those shuttles. 1minute-science turns around the shuttles very quickly and smartly. And he's going to abuse the fact that his Valkyries are not where they should be to fly his drop in. Valkyries do end up firing on the shuttles, and the shuttles do go down. He's forced to drop his units before reaching the mineral line. Another drop coming in from the west-south side. This one will be able to fly in all the way. Mong has to pull his SCVs out of his minerals really quickly, really quickly. Templars do come out. Templars storm all of the SCVs, and Mong is back to square zero. So he went from 78 SCVs down to 28. His income, once again, completely decimated. Only 250 minerals left. He has a little bit of gas, so he might be able to pull his SCVs off of his gas. But he's being very, very greedy with his Valkyrie use. And 1minute-science is abusing that fact really nicely, pulling Mong's Valkyries out of his base so that he can fly his drops in from the other side and storm the minerals. And just as I was complimenting Mong for his very, very stellar anti-drop performance, he ends up losing all of his SCVs to a drop. So maybe I jinxed it. And he's pushing out, being very, very, very aggressive. Zealots trying to kill the tanks there. Mong's going to have to stim these Marines to take care of these melee units, but a drop is coming in from the top west side. So this one is going to fly in all the way effortlessly. Templars come out, more Templars come out, storms come down, but he doesn't storm many SCVs at all. Now, Mong pulls his SCVs back to his minerals. Does this Templar still have energy for a storm? This Templar will probably or maybe reach the energy required for another storm. Nope, never mind. It's gonna go down. He focuses down the Templar. Templar walks out of the range of the tanks. 70 energy. Yes, it goes down before it can recover enough energy for another storm. Now a drop is coming in from the east and from the south. The south drop is just a distraction drop to draw Mong's units away. There is the real drop coming in from the east. Mong gets stormed again, loses about 15. No, he loses all of his SCVs to the storm drop, leaves the game, and the score is now on 1-1 as 1minute-science pulls off a very controlled game. 25 minutes long, non-stop dropping, very good drops, very good distraction drops from both sides, keeping Mong on his toes, punishing Mong for all of his little mistakes, taking full advantage of them, and eventually coming out with the win by taking and killing pretty much all of Mong's SCVs, decimating his income, locking him in low mineral hell, and 1minute-science comes out with a win. 1-1, and now it's all up to game 3 as to who will win this very short best of 3 series. I'm gonna go right into it, so sit tight, stay tuned, and it will be uploaded in just a couple of minutes. Thanks for watching.